Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving deep into Northern California's regional architecture to uncover a pretty shocking truth about the so-called maintenance-free roof. You know, if you own a home with premium concrete or clay tiles, you've probably been told they're a one-and-done investment, built to last a lifetime with absolutely zero effort on your part. But as we're going to see today, the data and the science tell a very different and honestly a much more urgent story. So let's just dive right into this by asking, is your tough-looking armor against the elements actually under siege from a hidden enemy? I mean, we all kind of assume concrete and clay are virtually indestructible, right? Like they just don't need our attention. But the reality is, there's a quiet biological battle likely happening right over your head today, and ignoring it could literally cost you thousands. Here is our quick roadmap for today's explainer. We'll cover the concrete tile standard, the hidden organic threat, warning signs of damage, the SoftWash solution, and finally, protecting your value and warranties. Let's get right to it. Okay, Section 1. The concrete tile standard, built for Northern California extremes. Now, these roofing materials were absolutely built to handle Northern California extremes. You see them everywhere in those beautiful newer master-planned communities, places like Roseville, Rockland, Elk Grove, El Dorado Hills, and Rancho Murrieta. But here's what you need to look out for. Notice what happens when these homes hit that 10-year mark. Any roof older than a decade begins to show alarming discoloration and growth. We're talking clumps of moss, along with stark green and yellow colors popping up, especially on the ends and roof caps. And here's the real kicker. You aren't the only one noticing this. Your homeowner's insurance company is absolutely noticing it too, and they are keeping close track of your property's condition. Moving on to Section 2, the hidden organic threat, a weather double whammy. This is where we uncover how our local climate creates a perfect storm that specifically targets these roofs. You know those dark streaks you see on roofs all around the neighborhood? You might think it's just dirt or dust. Actually, scratch that completely. It's a living, highly destructive organism called Gliocapsa magma. This is a cyanobacteria that retains moisture, which then creates the absolute perfect breeding ground for moss, mold, and lichen to just settle right in. It's an active biological buildup that is literally eating away at your expensive roofing materials. And once moss and lichen take root, the result is what we call the soaking wet sponge effect. They act exactly like a giant soaking wet sponge sitting directly against your concrete tiles all winter long. Throughout our heavily concentrated, wet Northern California winters, this organic matter absorbs rainfall and traps that destructive moisture right against the concrete. Over time, this constant dampness, mixed with the aggressive root systems of the lichen, physically breaks down the surface of your roof, drastically cutting down its lifespan. If you walk outside right now and look at the north-facing side of a house, you'll spot this vulnerability zone immediately. Because that side gets the least amount of direct sunlight during the day, it stays damp way longer after a rainstorm. This creates a hidden, highly susceptible blind spot where moisture lingers and fungus just flourishes. But the takeaway here is actually pretty simple. If you treat and mitigate the bacteria, the moss simply cannot grow. All right, Section 3, warning signs of damage, diagnosing your roof. Let's look at how this builds into visible red flags you need to spot before it's too late. There are 3 major warning signs. First, those visible dark streaks and black stains, which, as we now know, is that nasty cyanobacteria. Second, look for green, fuzzy moss patches or lichen establishing themselves right in the crevices of your tiles. And third, and this is a massive one to pay attention to, overflowing gutters full of organic roof debris. If your gutters are choked with organic matter, it's a huge indicator of heavy problematic runoff. And this is exactly why you cannot ignore those gutters. When those little overflowing organic sponges roll down and expand into your valleys and gutters, the water has nowhere to go but right over the edge and down the side of your home. Suddenly, what started as just a cosmetic roof problem becomes a catastrophic foundation problem. In fact, insurance companies note that a huge portion of water leaks and major wood rot claims stem directly from a lack of proper roof cleaning maintenance. This brings us to Section 4, the SoftWash solution, defending your concrete tiles. So how do we actually defend our concrete tiles against this biological assault? Well, most homeowners notice the dark streaks and think, I'll just grab a pressure washer and blast it away. Let me tell you, reaching for a pressure washer is the absolute worst mistake you can make. High-pressure jets are violently destructive. They physically etch softer materials. They force water up under your tiles, causing interior leaks, accelerate aging, and they can completely void your warranties. Plus, you're basically just watering the moss. On the flip side, the no-moss soft wash method uses a gentle 100 to 120 psi. It relies on biodegradable solutions to safely sanitize the surface and actually kill those organic roots without any damaging force. This is the gold standard protocol suggested by the manufacturers themselves. Just look at this incredible data point. Soft washing achieves a staggering 99.8% kill ratio on organic surfaces. Because it utilizes a specialized cleaning solution instead of raw, destructive water pressure, it truly sanitizes the roof. It kills the mold, the mildew, and the algae right down at the microscopic root level. So the really crucial point here is that because it actually sanitizes, your clean roof will last 4 to 6 times longer than it would with standard pressure washing. Pressure washing usually only gives you a clean look for about 12 to 18 months before those spores just grow right back. By treating the root cause, you aren't stuck repeating this massive, annoying chore every single year. Furthermore, if you're worried about the environment or your landscaping, professionals like No Moss SoftWash have that completely covered. They're a SoftWash Systems licensed affiliate utilizing water-based, fully biodegradable chemicals. They even use an active plant wash neutralizing system that protects your mature trees, your delicate flower beds, and your pets. Plus, and this is a huge bonus for us in California, this method uses significantly less water, keeping everything fully compliant with our strict local conservation restrictions. And speaking of compliance, you really need to be aware of the Federal Clean Water Act. The law places a liability directly on your shoulders as the property owner. You can be subjected to heavy fines for any contaminated, unfiltered, or unreclaimed water that gets released from your property and enters the storm drain. To remove this massive liability from your shoulders, you've got to do your due diligence. Always hire an active California license who carries workers' compensation for their employees. True professionals follow the Clean Water Act to the letter. They actively filter, reclaim, and properly dispose of that contaminated water for you, giving you total peace of mind. Finally, Section 5, Protecting Value and Warranties, the real financial impact. Proper maintenance isn't just a chore, it's an investment that pays huge financial dividends. Regular soft washing protects you in a bunch of ways. First, it prevents the premature physical deterioration of those super expensive concrete tiles. Second, through pure water rinsing, it safely cleans the dust and grime off your solar panels to boost your energy output, all without voiding the panel warranties. Third, it keeps you completely out of trouble with those dreaded HOA warning notices and fines. And lastly, if you ever plan to sell, it absolutely maximizes your home's curb appeal and overall market price. For ultimate peace of mind, No Moss SoftWash backs their certified professional work with a national 5-year spot-free limited warranty. That's 5 solid years of guaranteed protection against the regrowth of all those destructive elements. Interestingly enough, this warranty is fully transferable to a new buyer if you decide to sell your home, which adds brand new protected value directly to your property. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a quick thought to chew on. Take a look up at your roof the next time you pull into the driveway and ask yourself this vital question. Will your beautiful concrete tiles truly survive the next wet Northern California winter, or is your roof already actively feeding a hidden enemy right above your head? Thank you so much for exploring this fascinating topic with us today. Protect your investment, do your due diligence, and keep learning.